Yes, it's a new month, and this is the first edition of Kalu'S Mandate for the third month of the year 2021. Every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m., we highlight the activities of the member representing the good people of Bende Federal Constituency at the lower chambers of the 9th National Assembly. That's the House of Representatives. Bridging the gap between the parliament and the people is the program Kalu'S Mandate. Welcome. My name is Michael Oni. This program is live on Flow 94.9 FM, both on the terrestrial platforms and also the online platforms, running simultaneously on Vision Africa Radio 104.1 FM, Family Love 99.9 FM, and Real 99.1 FM. We're also live on ABN online radio and TV. Our regular guest is joining us virtually from Abuja. He's the spokesperson of the House of Representatives and also the chairman of the Media and Public Affairs Committee of the House of Representatives, a member of several other committees also, representing the good people of Bende Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu. Good morning to you, Honorable.
Good morning, Michael Oni. Thank you for inviting me, and listeners, thank you for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to speak to Abians on what is happening at the National Assembly.
Oh, thank you very much. Now, let's quickly begin the discussion. All right, let's quickly go straight to the discussion. We're beginning with your legislative activities. The bill to remove prisons from exclusive list and transfer it to the concurrent list. It has passed through the second reading of the House of Representatives, and that bill, when it goes through all legislative processes, will have states be in control of correctional facilities and systems. That bill is sponsored by you, Representative Benjamin Kalu, and if it finally passed into law, how will it help to efficiently run the correctional centers in the country?
Well, thank you very much. At the moment, what we are faced with is congestion of the prisons. And if you visit one of the prisons, you will see that prisons built for 100 people is being used by 700 to 1,000 people. And you find out that human rights abuses is much in our prisons. You find out that the prisons are not being administered the way they're supposed to be. And what this bill is seeking is to make sure that Nigeria aligns with the international protocols with regards to, how to take care of minimal standard for taking care of prisoners, which was adopted by the United Nations in 2015 as the minimal standard for managing prisons, and popularly known as the Mandela Rule. Now, to be able to achieve this decongestion, which has shown itself in so many statistics gathered around Nigeria. For example, in Lagos, 5 prisons that was built to take care of about 40-something thousand is taking care of 90-something thousand. This is not how it's supposed to be. And all through the country, we have only 240 prisons. We need more. A particular controller in charge of Badagry prison said our prison was built to take a little over 100 people, but it's taking 700 people. So in order to make sure that prisoners, who are human beings, that they have their rights, we need to make sure that they are well taken care of and they are better managed than the way they are at the moment. To achieve this, the participation of all hands, involved in leadership of this nation is involved, both at the federal and at the state. And by law, any matter that appears on the exclusive list is for the exclusive reserve of the National Assembly and the executive at the federal. It has no input from the state. And that which appears under the concurrent list by law involves the partnership, the collaboration, the cooperation between the National Assembly and the state houses as assembly, which means the federal and the state participate and the candidate state on it. By law, if you don't legislate on anything, you cannot participate, in that particular sector. The state currently cannot legislate on prisons. But we want them to participate, just like it is done in Russia, in the UK, in Australia, in Canada, as well as the United States, where you have the local prisons,
now,
have the state prisons,
a very
and you have
big
the federal
question
prisons.
here, Honorable. This is coming at a time that most states of the Federation are complaining about the finances. They have dwindling revenue, especially from the center, because most of them are depending from the federal allocation from the federal government. Do you think it will be able, they will be able to finance the daily running of the correctional centers if this bill finally is being passed into law?
What people don't understand is that when you hear concurrent lease, you begin to misinterpret it to be the sole responsibility of the state. It's not so. It means participation, like I said before, between the federal and the state.
Okay.
Issues that have appeared on the concurrent list are as follows: health, education, and all the rest of them. Now, you find out there is an intervention fund, that is what they call the counterpart fund, where the state contributes and the federal government contribute. It has worked in our educational sector. It has worked in our health sector. That's why I have the State Health Management Board. I also have the Federal Management Board.
Okay.
Now, there are places we come together to be able to, however we have funded the concurrent list, issues appearing on the concurrent list, how we will fund this one. And also, it is high time we started thinking outside the box and begin to look at this prison localization in our various states as, the pool of human resources, which is lacking in most nations. America knows how to make use of their prisoners to generate fund. In fact, the prisoners end up making money that is used for their upkeep while they are there, because you are reforming them. Beyond punishing them, you are reforming them, and you want to rehabilitate them to be integrated into the society. How do you do that? By allowing them to waste their life, 20 years imprisonment, 5 years, 10 years imprisonment, and then when they come out, they become deviants to the society. So there has to be a soft landing where you make use of them to fulfill one or two value addition to the state. For example, in the United States, you find out some of them are good computer coders. Some of them code computers. Some of them do computer repairs. Some of them do a lot of other manufacturing. They are taught. Some of them write exams while they are there. And when they come out, they find it very easy to now integrate into the society.
Okay.
But that is not what is happening here. Growing up, I experienced this in Bend. We used to have a prison. At a particular time, the prison warders will release them to come and see the blue skies. And in doing so, they work in our farms. In those days, we used to have, when they are working, you'll be hearing songs like, Onye buwa chara onye buwa, onye akpọla ibe ya onye ikon, onye buwa chara onye buwa, onye akpọla ibe ya onye ikon. Those songs were what they were used to, what they used when they were tilling our farms. And at the end of the day, they produce better. They achieve more. That 2 hours or 3 hours they are given, they contribute to the value of the communities that is hosting them. We can apply that particular mechanism where we find, like Abia State, for example, we are very good in making shoes. We are very good in tailoring. We are very good with our hands. Our boys are very good. And that they are prison does not mean that those skills are lost. Some of them who don't have, we can create it. They can stay there and be producing bed sheets or curtains. And that we can even export in this AGOA project of the United States. They can stay there and make shoes for NYSC. They can stay there and do a lot of things. Beyond that, it will help us also to reduce the burden on the federal government in the sense that classification of offenses. If you have the right to make laws like the federal government and you define offenses in your laws, you should also have the capacity to reform those people, those offenders of your laws. You don't make laws, create offenses, define offenders, and when the laws are gone against, you take the burden of reforming them to the federal government.
Okay.
And you see, when we talk about federalism as well, let me bring it in here, unless you have question in that direction for me. But I see this also as one of...
I do have questions direction. Let's move on now. Quickly, still talking about your legislative activities for the past 1 week. Last week during plenary, members of the House of Representatives were divided over a bill sponsored by Representative Garuba Dati Mohammed, seeking to allow states to individually determine the minimum wage suitable for them. And if it becomes law, respective states and the local government will be able to determine different wages for their workers, a development that the Deputy Speaker, Representative Ahmed Wase, and some others also during that debate said would worsen the plight of labor in the states. Let's look at the effect of this bill, especially on restructuring. You were about talking about it a couple of minutes ago. There is, in all this, there is this growing call for true federalism in Nigeria. Now, you raised the issue, you presented the bill for states to be in control of correctional facilities with which should be a concurrent list, which should be on the concurrent list. It has already passed through. So in all this, looking at the bill sponsored by Representative Garuba Dati Mohammed, do you think we are already seeing, or we will see the restructuring being agitated by some part of the country?
I think your question is whether this bill will add any value
to
our drive towards restructuring and true federalism. I think that is where your question is.
Exactly, Mike.
And I can say, people have always argued we want restructuring. Last time I responded to the statement made by the erudite scholar and writer very own Soyinka, who said that the National Assembly was doing nothing about restructuring and they should take it more serious. And I answered and said, the National Assembly works through bills and motions, and constitutional amendment is on the front burner at the moment.
Okay.
And you cannot do restructuring without it going through constitutional amendment. Constitutional amendment is what you can use to achieve restructuring. And people are waiting for something to happen, like a big bang, boom, and then we call it restructuring. That is never going to happen. It's going to trickle in through these institutions that we are adjusting, through these things that we have in our constitution that has, put a lot of force, weight at the center. By the time we do devolution, by the time we decentralize, you see that the trickle effect of this will go to all the nooks and crannies of our country. For example, what he's asking is, it's like pay as you go or pay as you earn. It's like the strength of various states are not the same. So if you put a burden on a state that is weak and it is easy for the state that is strong, you are suffocating that weak state. And at the end of the day, the weak state will not be able to meet up the obligation, debt will be owed. But if you now put it and say, okay, pay according to your strengths, you give the opportunity to the state to determine the kind of labor force that they need. Now, labor will cry about it. But look at this from the other side. If there is competition, a healthy competition, which is encouraged by federalism, so that the federating units will begin to, compete for development. You will find out that no governor would like to have an exodus of his best brain to a nearby state where they are paid better. Therefore, he's going to create the ecosystem that will energize, development and investment. So you see that most of your best brain, they are leaving to go to Lagos to work. And you are left with chaff who are not productive. You will make sure that you create an enabling environment to make, businesses to spring up, the economies of your state to go to the next level. That will increase the revenue of the state, and the ripple effect is increasing the wages that is paid to the people who are working for the state. When this competition is there, what will be the effect in our economy? Development. Every state will now begin to look at where they have comparative advantage over others and begin to focus on those areas of comparative advantage. My strength may not be the strength of the other state, but I should not keep focusing on my weakness and waiting for handouts from the federal government in the form of allocation. When we talk about fiscal federalism, which most people don't want to talk about, they only talk about federalism as involves, when they talk about fiscal federalism, they talk about it as involves, the allocation that is coming from the federal to the state. How about revenue generation? How about, fiscal federalism in revenue generation? There are certain things I have in the southeastern part of Nigeria, which is lacking in the northeastern part of Nigeria. Same for the north. against the East. Now, why don't we tap into those places and then begin to, leverage our strength to be able to suppress the threats and the weaknesses in our system? So this is what that bill is going to do. It will, initiate. It will start this healthy competition among the states, and I think at the end of the day, the federal government will enjoy it.
All right,
because it will enhance development.
Let's look at some national issues just before we break it down to Abia State. We have a growing insecurity challenge in the country, and according to official statistics, Nigeria accounts for about 78% of the over 500 million illegal arms in West Africa. Now, there is this motion for licensed guns. I don't know what will be your take. Do you think it should be pushed for Nigerians to
Yeah. All things might be needful, but not all things are expedient. Expediency is determined by the time, understanding the time where we are. There are things that you have which are good ideas, but if the implementation timing is wrong, it makes that good idea to become a bad one. So we must understand what is happening in the country at the moment. The insurgency, the terrorism, the kidnapping, and all the rest of them. If you license so fully now, you and I would like to use our license for good use, to protect ourselves, like you have it in most countries in the world. But there are people that it will become license to kill. At the moment, they don't have licenses, and they are using ammunition as if they have the authority. They are using ammunition with such audacity as if it is legal. If you now legalize it and it finds itself in the hand of the wrong persons, Nigeria will be a terrible place to live in. The idea is good. Let's protect ourselves. But even in the climes where these things are allowed, people go for mental check to be able to know if you are fit enough to carry gun. Some of us went through it overseas. After you are training on how to use ammunition, and before you acquire yours, you go for mental checks, psychological analysis to make sure you'll be able to handle it before they allow you to purchase your gun. If you do that in Nigeria, we don't even know those who are Nigerians and those who are not Nigerians. And this glorification of ammunition is coming through our borders that is very porous. Let's do the first thing first, close up the borders. Monitor the borders better. Let the immigration step up their game. Let NIM be quick in giving us our identity document so that we know who is a Nigerian and who is not a Nigerian. Because a lot of people claim they are Nigerian because they look like us when they are not Nigerians. So those are the things I think we should take care of first. Once we know how many of us are here, we begin to talk about whether or not to license guns at the moment.
It is Ben Kalu'S Mandate. It's live on several radio stations in Abia State, and of course this is where we highlight the activities of the member representing the good people of Bende Federal Constituency at the lower chambers of the 9th National Assembly, and he's also the spokesperson of the House of Representatives. We've been speaking with Representative Benjamin Kalu this morning. Let's move on now. I know you have something to say about this war of words between Senator Smart Adeyemi and the Abia State governor. It's unfortunate that some statements were made by Senator Smart Adeyemi from Kogi State on the floor of the House during plenary, the red chambers this time around. And it's led to what I call personal attack, and some derogatory statements were made. I wouldn't want to repeat that. I don't know what is your reaction to that, Honorable.
The statement made by
Senator Smart Adeyemi.
The senator, colleague in the National Assembly, was a very offensive one. Very, very offensive one. Nobody would be happy to have his governor described in such foul language that he used. It was not a distinguished expression by a member of the National Assembly. We have our languages that we use when we appear in plenary, and that is unknown to our parliamentary language. And moreover, people have been thinking that he was only describing the governor of the state. He was describing me. He was describing Senator Jikalo. He was describing Senator Tioji. He was describing Senator Abadibe, Nkiru Onyejocha, and all of us who are leaders of the state. Because he roped us in. He said, I'm the leader. We are led. That Abia was led, by drunkards. And it wasn't just only the governor. He painted all of us with a brush of palm wine. He said that we are all ogogoro drinkers, and it was very embarrassing. Very embarrassing. I'm just struggling to hold myself from, saying what I want to say. But I know with time, he will retrace his step. But I must commend the governor for the way he managed it, for the way he kept cool and calm. It was only yesterday that he said something to that effect, in a very polite form. That if a mad person takes your clothes and run away, and you run after him, people will be confused. Who actually is the mad one? He said a lot in such short line. So I want us to leave it at that, but I feel that he owes us an apology. The leaders of Abia State, which I'm one of them, they declared me a drunkard. And he was wrong in saying that, because people like me, I don't take alcohol. And I've never been drunk in my life. So I don't know why he went on the front of his own to describe the leadership of our state in such manner. Whatever the provocation, it was unwarranted comments.
Just before we throw the lines open, let's look at the dividend of democracy that you're bringing to your people, the people you represent at the National Assembly. At your constituency, we heard that you brought the National Health Insurance Scheme to your federal constituency to capture people. That's again this time around, because it has happened to capture people for medical insurance. What do you wish to accomplish with that, and when is it starting?
Yeah, health is everything. Health is everything. Everything you do, health is very, very, very important. And I believe in health. I was raised by a medical doctor, my big brother and the wife, and I have about 7 medical doctors in my house. So I know the value of health. My wife also is a medical doctor. So whatever you give to a person, if you take away health from the person, I can assure you that he will not enjoy other dividends of democracy. Based on that, I spend money that was supposed to be used either for either road or these or empowerment to pay into the National Health Insurance Scheme for the people. They have captured the first set. They are back again today to come and capture extra number of people to come on board. What it's all about is, with this insurance that I have paid, if you are sick and you go to FMC, you only pay 10% because I've paid 90% of your bill. So I don't know, as I'm encouraging people as they are capturing, rush and be captured, because the opportunity does not come all the time. People are looking for it. You only know the value of this when you are sick and you go to hospital and they bill you 1 million. And when they bill you 1 million, you give them your number and they tell you hear that Benjamin has taken 90%. They are paying 100,000. They bill you 10,000 and you pay 1,000 because I've already taken care of 9,000. It's a wonderful thing that has never happened in the federal constituency before, and I want to start it. All those old people, who don't have anybody helping them, all those super indigent people, all those widows. It is high time we started capturing them and giving them medical provision. Nothing equals to health, and that is what this is all about. It's starting today again, and we are using 3 locations. It's going to be one in the Abia North, Bende North. I think they're choosing Item or Alai axis, and they will choose another one at Uzuakole, my constituency office, which is the central point. And also they will choose one in Bende to take care of people from Umuhu to Zitem to Itumbuzo and Bende. While Uzuakole will take care of Uzuakole, take care of some part of Uzitem, take care of Umuimenyimpa, and Alai and Item Ibere. Ugweke will be on the other side. So we wanted it to move around so that people will not say, we didn't have money for transport. It's all about you. It's not about Benjamin. Try and make sure that you will go there.
Honorable, we need to get reactions on the phone lines just before we wrap up the program this morning. We have less than 3 minutes to step out of the studio. 0808 182 6949 or 0811 605 2949. It's Ben Kalu'S Mandate, and we've been speaking with the member representing Bende Federal Constituency at the Federal House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu. You have to be very, very sharp, brief, and straightforward with your questions. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You're welcome. What's your name?
Michael Oni, good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name? Quickly, please.
This is Loman, the prophet from Wire. Good morning, our honorable in the house.
Morning, sir.
What I really want to ask, now that we have started experiencing kidnapping along that area, what are you doing as one representing us to make sure that that type of thing will not ever be remembered along that axis? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your question.
Which axis was that?
He wasn't specific.
Okay, I know where kidnapping is happening around. It's around that Akara area,
yes.
And I have addressed that. I addressed that in the last conversation we had, and I said I've been in touch with the security agencies, and they are doing wonderful job. I don't think there have been any incident after one or two of my appearances last time. The military, the DSS, the police, they put a checkpoint there, and they are doing a wonderful job. I commend them, and I was only asking them to keep it up.
All right, let's take this final one. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello.
Good morning. Go on, please.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, go on. What's your name and your question?
Okay, Honorable, good morning. My name is Ozemelamsijo. I'm calling from Ahafia.
All right.
Honorable, I really thank you the good work you started on that road, well, especially the one leading to Unsalaku Road through what do you call it? Locust. That road, I normally pass that road during 1995, 2000. I found out that road was so terrible, so bad that the quality, I passed there yesterday. The quality work that is going on that road, I'm very, very impressed. I say, may you continue your good work and the quality representation that you are doing during chamber. I say, may God continue to be with you and your family.
All right.
Continue to represent the good people.
Thank you very much. Our time is actually
thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have more coming, but we don't want to whet your appetite so much. We have more coming. Most of the road around there. I'm partnering with Dr. Jikalo. He's working very hard to make sure that we get more road in that our area. And most of the roads have been abandoned so many years. You'll be surprised. Some of them were captured in this budget. And we ask you to remain hopeful.
All right.
You'll be happy that you send APC to represent you at the House of Representatives.
All right, Honorable, the conversation will continue next week. I do appreciate your time this morning on Ben Kalu'S Mandate. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And ambience, I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Let's keep interacting.
All right, thank you very much. Many thanks to the partner radio stations from Vision Africa Radio to Family Love and also Real FM in Aba. This is Flow 94.9 FM where the signal is emanating from. And also ABN Online Radio. Thank you very much. My name is Michael Oni. Do enjoy the rest of your day.